everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in this week to the podcast. And we just want to take a moment to remind you that we are on the socials on Instagram and also TikTok. You can find us simply at andale.run, and you can check out our content there. And then, of course, we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and also on YouTube. Again, very easy, Andale Run. And make sure you hit that follow button so that way you don't miss an episode. And if you can share it with your friends, that'd be great, just to get the content out there. That'll help us out a lot, and also give us a rate. That would be tremendous. Or leave a comment, because we love to hear from you, and we try to do our best to respond to all of our comments. So with that being said, Abe, we have a guest today that I'm excited to talk to. So why don't you go ahead and introduce the guest we have today?
Yeah, I'm also excited to introduce our guest. He has run 1424 over 3 miles in cross country, 153 in the 800, 412 in the 1600, 924 over 32. Multiple time All-Stater here in Illinois. This is Mateo Ramiro-Garcia.
Mateo, welcome
What's
to
up,
the
guys?
show, my friend.
Appreciate it.
Of course, man. I hope you're doing well today. How was school for you?
It was solid. It was a good day. Coming back from yesterday with the meet, so it was a little slower, but it was a good day. It's a good day.
Yeah, for sure. So, for those of our listeners who don't know, we have in Northern Illinois is a pretty competitive meet. Is mainly relay teams. Is that right, Mateo?
Yeah, it's like one of those like kind of relay meets. So it's basically just a 4x4, 4x2.
Okay. Yeah. So that happened yesterday. Well, when this comes out, it'd be a week. But so that's what Mateo is referring to and everything. So real quick, Mateo, before we get to any questions about running, I got to ask, what is your favorite class in school?
Right now I really like AP Euro. I feel like AP Euro is my favorite class. It's a good I like history. I like kind of those history classes. I took AP World my freshman year and AP Push last year, AP Golf my sophomore year. So I'm kind of one of those like kind of heavy history kids. So yeah, that's my favorite class right now.
All right. History buff. So that's awesome. And so what class is the most challenging?
Definitely Calc. I feel like Calc is my most challenging class right now. It's the one I'm struggling a little bit. But I mean, it's all good though. I'm trying to keep working on it and, keep getting good grades.
Sure. There you go. I mean, that's all you can do, right? Is keep working on it. So, Mateo, we would love to know more about you. Of course, we want to talk about running and everything. And before we get to the running part, man, I really, we ask this pretty much of all our guests. We love to find out, how did you get involved in the sport of running or cross country track? Was it somebody that in your family that pushed you? Was it how was it introduced to your life? So tell us, how did that come about?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, growing up, I was more of a soccer player. I feel like I always wanted to play soccer. My parents, both of them, they started running when they had my younger brother. So when I was 3, they started running like 5Ks, 10Ks. My dad ended up doing ultras for a little bit. So that was really cool. I was like young, so I got to see him, do ultras. While I was playing soccer, I got into like, recreational running. So I would run with like a team when I used to live in Mexico. My coach was like our gym teacher. So she kind of just told me, come out, try it out. You look like you'd be a really good runner. So I tried out there. And then when I moved to the States, I ran a little bit during middle school. And I was really set on doing like the soccer team my freshman year. And then, a couple of the guys from the seniors from Sandberg and a couple of like the sophomores, they were like, no, yeah, come on, like come out for like summer camp. We would like to have you here, And I was like, all right, yeah, I'll give it a shot. So then I came out for the summer, that summer of my freshman year, and I just fell in love with the sport. I fell in love with the team, and I stayed on it.
Yeah, there you go. So it sounds like a lot of it came from like the community that you experienced with the runners that really kind of drew you in. Is that fair to say?
I feel like, yeah, that's a fair point to say. I think I don't like my parents kind of put that also onto me. They were like, I kind of would see him run, and I would be like, yeah, I kind of want to try that out too. It's not like I want to be a part of like the gang that runs. My
Yeah.
parents run, so.
All right. Sounds good. So you mentioned that you were from Mexico, or you grew up partly in Mexico. Do you ever get a chance to go back?
Yeah, like during the summers I would go back and it'd be pretty good because and where I used to live you get like really good altitude, so it'd be like a nice
Mm.
like month of training. You get out there and there's beautiful like parks, beautiful like scenery, some mountains. It's beautiful. So I would go there like every summer. I didn't go last year because we wanted to kind of more focus on staying here, making sure
Mm.
training was well and everything, school, that kind of stuff. So we kind of didn't go last year, but I feel like in the past 8 years that I've been here, I feel like I've gone to Mexico like 5 of those years. So I go there, quite often.
Okay. Okay. So with the running in Mexico, from what you can remember, do you think that like that being at altitude, because of course we've heard, the different advantages, right, of being able to run in altitude. Do you feel, or do you think that you've like gained any sort of advantages from having run at altitude in Mexico?
I mean, maybe definitely like during the time that I was there, like I gained a little bit of advantage from like some of the practices that I had, especially because like during summer is more of just like making sure you're building that base. At least that's for like for
Hmm.
us, we're making sure you want to build that base. But I mean, yeah, coming back from Mexico every summer, I felt pretty strong. I wouldn't say it was like really like make or break, like, oh, like if I didn't go run in Mexico this summer, like yeah, that was gonna break me for the whole season, right? It's more of just like how I kind of feel at the moment.
Sure, sure. No, that makes sense. And so Abe had mentioned your times, and so for at least for cross country, Abe, can you remind us again? Because we had talked about this, about how there was a slight, well, there was a good amount of drop from one year to the next. Um,
Yeah.
Go
Um,
ahead.
if I was right, you ran right 14:55 junior year, and then senior year this year you ran 14:55 a mid-season, then you ran 14:48 was your PR before state. Is that right? And
Yeah.
then 14:24 at state. So 24, almost 25 seconds. That's a pretty big jump. What do you think? What do you think really like contributed to that, and like gave you the confidence to be able to run a 25-second PR?
Yeah, well, this season was a little different. So partly because during the summer I was out for a little bit.
Mm,
So I was
mm,
mainly focused on like swimming. So I
okay.
was swimming like a lot. Then that first meet that I ran a PR. So I was like,
Mm,
yeah, like I'm doing pretty well for the point where I'm at. And
yeah.
then, I really gained my confidence at the sectional meet, this year. So
Mm,
our sectional it was packed, right? It was like
yeah.
Hinsdale, Downers North,
Mm,
a lot of good individuals from Winnie Young, Downers Grove South, Conrad. We got a bunch
yeah.
of guys that are like high level athletes at that sectional. So I was like, you know what? I really want to give myself a good shot here. So I in that sectional meet, I went out with the three leaders. I was like Santiago and Philip.
Mm,
Um yeah, like after I ended up running 14:55 that day. I took eighth, but it gave me like a lot of confidence out because I was like, hey, like our team, Samber, we took second that day for sectionals. Like we were 1 point away from that like sectional title.
yeah.
So we were talking on the way back on the bus, and we're like, hey man, like if we work together again, we're able to like push ourselves more next weekend. Like we can do something big at state, right?
Mm,
And I also feel like, like the support from my teammates, the coaches, and just like it's kind of like brotherhood that we have
yeah.
in our team. Like that just like gave me so much confidence and so much like belief in the fact that you know what, at state, like I'm gonna put myself out there no matter what. Like
Mm,
Mm.
I went out there um thinking about like not really the time, it's more about like, hey, if I can get all state today for my team, for my guys, we have a really good shot at, making that top 10, top 5, right? I mean, I wasn't really paying attention too much of the time. It was more of just like, those spots, the numbers, like you're 1 second away, you're 5 guys away from like 20th place, right? That's the moment I had, like with like 500 to go. It was like I was in 26th, and it was like this huge pack, right? It was like huge. It was like fifth, like from 26 to 15, it was like a 7-second like gap, right? So Coach O'Malley, he's like telling me like, you can get all state right now, right? Like you got one guy in front of you. I can hear like parents from like my other teammates, my dad. And I was like, you know what? I'm really gonna go out there right now. 300 to go. I'm gonna kick it in. I'm gonna see what I can do. What can I do today? Like that's kind of what I thought. And I ended up, taking 16. Super cool. It was super cool experience, but I feel like it was also like a very like a learning moment for me, especially because like I feel like I dealt with that thing where like I wouldn't give myself a shot. I've dealt with it for a while, like my junior season cross country, sophomore year track. Like it's been a while now, right? So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put myself out there. I feel like that's why that's what happened with that time drop. Because I mean, I've been fit, right? I was fit the whole season. I was running the workouts the same. I was putting in good mileage. So I was like, it was more just like that mentality. It was more just like, putting myself out there, and I feel like that was that 24-second drop. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you talk about, putting yourself out there, right? Like, saying I'm going to see what I got, and I'm going to run as fast as I can during this time period or whatever. So, what do you think holds people, or what held you back from like doing that earlier? Is there any ideas or any thoughts that maybe what held you back from like saying, or like maybe your junior year, just saying, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to give it the best that I got? Is there any ideas or thoughts?
I feel like, in a sense, it was kind of just like putting other people were like really up, like kind of respect, like we call it like respecting the competition a lot, right? So
Right.
I was like, yeah, no, like these guys, like you put me in the heat of the mile, and I feel like my junior year I was running like 20, 22, and you put me in this heat where like these guys are running like 4:10s. I think in my head I'd be like, yikes, like these guys are running really quick, right? Like I really do not know how I'm gonna deal with this, and like what type of situation I'll be in. Like what happens if it's like one lap to go and I'm like third place, right? Or one lap to go, I'm in last place, right? So I feel
Right.
like it was that about like respecting my competition a lot, and like in a respectful way. I feel like we gotta disrespect our competition, right? Because we gotta like, put ourselves in that position where we're like, you know what? He runs 4:10. He runs like, I don't know, 4:15. I run 4:22. I think I could go beat him today, right? So I feel like
Yeah.
It sounds like you're putting a lot of these obviously fast guys like maybe up on a pedestal, and maybe like playing it up in your head like they're so much better and so much faster than you. So was there really one race or one moment that like cemented in your mind that I am one of these guys and I can be as good as them, if not better? Maybe that wasn't your sectional race, or if it
um
wasn't sectional race.
I feel like it all began at like during track season my junior year. I feel like that was like kind of like that moment. It was kind of like that jump that I made. So I was still running in the 800, like I was running 156 consistently. So I was getting a little frustrated, like, you know what, I really can't. I'm not making this jump that I want. I'm not going like, I don't know, 152, 153, right? So then comes conference meet, and I'm like, all right, let's just see what I got today, right? So I put myself out there. I opened like a 55, which is like, I think it's the fastest lap that I opened the whole season.
Yeah.
And I had a competition with me, 600 to go. So it was that like that moment where like you really gotta show that like competitive response. Because the guy got in front of me with 600 to go. Both of us are tired, right? We're going through it. So it's just like I'm gonna see what I got today. I'm gonna give it all. I'm gonna give it my all. And I ended up running 153 that day. I ended up winning conference, right?
Yeah.
Huge. Like I was like really proud of what I was able to accomplish that day. So, that's a lot of momentum for me. So I'm like, all right, next week sectionals. What can I do at sectionals? I go out there. It's like it's good competition as well. I've ran with these guys for like I don't know, like 2 years. Like some of the guys in our sectional.
Mhm.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give myself another shot today. You know, it's a different story. Turn the paper, right? Conference was last week. This is sectionals.
Yeah.
And I go out there, same thing. It played out exactly the same as it played out in conference, except it was faster this time, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I feel like state was a different story. Doing 2 events that day. But it was, it was a way different experience because I was able to, run with like my teammates, the 4x8. Super special to be able to run with them. My sophomore year, unfortunately, we weren't able to get that all-state medal. So, being able to go in the podium with them again, it was super cool. It was like really, really cool. And, being able to go up there for the 800 too, it was super sick. It was like a really cool experience.
Yeah.
And then it came Magus. So Magus was like the week after state. And, that was like, not really my comfort zone right now, right? Like I'm not really running the mile, like most of these guys. So I'm, that week for training, it was like, really more of just like, let's see how fit I am, right? So like how fast can I run in the workouts? How, you know, well I can feel in those like week of and just like, endurance runs, 70 minutes, whatever. So then I go into Magus and, we had a pacer at Magus. So I told the pacer, to open kind of quick. But a bunch of the guys disagreed from like the heat. We ended up landing on opening at 205. So
Mm.
my goal was like, all right, I'm gonna stay behind the pacer the whole time.
Yeah.
I was seated like 10th with like a 420. So I was like, you know what, I really want to go out there and and end the season with a bang. So come around 205. And then I'm in the lead with like 600 to go. And I'm like, all right, let's just close it down. Come on. Like you got one more lap of this season. You can do it, right? So then I ended up running 412 or 414 for the full mile. So it was very cool to see how I was able to make that jump from like April to like June. Like it took me like 1 month, right? But I feel like if I would have done, I don't know what would have happened if I would have done this earlier, right? What would have happened if I would have done this like, I don't know, my sophomore season of track, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like the beauty in it was like the fact that I was able to kind of like see like the progress, like it was more of like enjoying the journey than, getting to the destination.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've met a lot of people in like the last couple 4 years and like, being able to like enjoy this like moments with like my teammates, my family, my friends. It's been great. And I feel like it's also because of their support that I was able to make that jump. Because they all believed in me. It was more of just like me looking at, they believe in me. Like I can believe in myself too. Like I feel like that was like the other part of making that jump.
Mm. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that, Mateo. Because you're talking about, of course, the Magic Mile, and now, we're about indoor season is about to be done with. By the time this comes out, it will be done with. And we're going to be going out to the oval outside. And so I have a curiosity. Is there a specific event that you enjoy more than the others? What do you have your eyes focused on one particular event this coming season since it is your senior year, or what is that looking like for you?
Well, to answer the first part, I really like the 800 because it's very hard, right? It's very the 800 is hard, and I like that. I like that about the 800. It's a very well rated. It's perfect. You know, it's like a sprint, but it's also like distance. It's great, right? And as far as like, I'm really looking more of like, you know, being able to run every event. Like I'm not really focusing on, you know, being able to run one thing. I'm more
Okay.
of like, I want to be like the kind of like that multi-event athlete, wherever that puts me at. You know, I want to be able to run like low nines. I want to be able to run like 410s, 150s, be able to get that 4x8, you know, win state in the 4x8,
Mm.
win state in an event. I feel like that's like right now the goal as a team and as an individual as well. So like I feel like everything kind of lines up to like the point where like my goals will meet the team's goals, right? Like my
Yeah.
teammates had the same goal of getting down the 4x8 and game and winning state. It's gonna be the same goal for me, right? I feel like the individual stuff kind of comes a little later.
Yeah.
But I'm looking more of like, you know, being able to like run every event, you know, 400, 4x4. You know, we really want to get that 4x4 down for Sam. We really want to. And we really
Yeah.
want to get a lot of like those, a lot of the distance events. You know, we have a lot of talent in our team, a lot of young kids. Our senior class is, you know, I think it's one of the bigger ones that we've had in recent years. So, you know, we got a lot of guys, you know, hungry to come back and, you know, win state in the 4x8, win state in an event. So whatever it takes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and talking about the 4x8, because your school is in 3A, the class 3A here in Illinois. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then you have, of course, you have some great competition in 3A with the 4x8 teams. And so your team certainly has, uh, some good competition. And so like, do you guys really see yourselves as individuals who are as a team that can win state outdoors? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so where does that confidence come from from you for you and the team, like believing that you can do that?
Well, we know that you know, we're a hard group of guys. Like we work really hard. You know, and when we want something, we're gonna set our minds to go and do that. You know, last night was it was a good showing. You know, the past couple years at Mustang, we haven't really been doing super hot.
Hmm.
So last year, you know, we got my guys and I was like, hey, you know, and they agree with me, like, you know, this is the year where we can really like show like, hey, like we're back, right? Semmer's
Hmm.
back. Semmer's been back. All right. Like we had a good bunch of guys, you know, run well at track last year. We got a bunch of
Okay.
420 milers. We have so much depth in our 800. Um, juniors, sophomores, you know, we got this like system where like we think and we believe that we can win state with the amount of guys that we have, you know, with those like in that like sub 203 and below. That we're gonna have like so many guys this season that we think like we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there
Hmm.
right now. Right now, we're really doing really well, but I know we can make that jump. We can make even a bigger jump, right? So I feel like that's where like that confidence comes, and it's not just for me; it's from like the guys. If you ask them, like, hey, you guys think you can win state? They'll say, yeah. Like
Yeah.
we're really like confident about what we can do.
All right. All right. So, hey, for those who are listening, you heard it here, that, Mateo and, Sandberg, they're gonna win state, so it puts everybody else on notice. um, and with 4x8, of course, being a part of a team, and it sounds as though like the team aspect is really important to you. You've mentioned it a few times already, that you want to be able to do well as a team. Is that like where do you think that sort of thinking comes from, or that sort of belief in the team first before any sort of individual accolades or any individual events? Where does that come from for you?
Um, I feel like that's just more of like the. I feel like I've been kind of influenced a lot. I feel like it's the rich culture at Sandberg. And I feel like not only that, I feel like it comes more of also like the like kind of more from me
Okay.
as like um I love soccer, right? I'm a
Okay.
big soccer guy. And
Yeah.
my favorite team, right? So I feel like if you think about it, like a soccer team being good, it's not just like one individual player, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know, like I'll give you an example, like Cristiano Ronaldo, right? Like Real Madrid was like it's a really good team. What's a really good team back when Cristiano was playing? It wasn't
Yeah.
just because of Cristiano. Like every single player in that team had a purpose, right?
Mm.
Goalkeeper had a purpose. Defense had a purpose. Midfield had a purpose, and your attacking had a purpose, right?
Hmm.
The team was so well like built that like everything just like it was like I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like it flew. Like it was like
It flowed.
it,
Yeah.
it flowed. Yeah, it flowed. It worked
Yeah.
perfectly, right? So I feel like
Yep.
that's like kind of where like that like kind of like team first mentality comes from because as like me that I watch soccer, right? If like the team's not functioning well, like that, what's the point, right? You can have
Right.
one good individual runner, but you want that like kind of team because that builds like generations, right? That builds like the next team, right? So I feel like
Mm.
that's so important, having that
Yeah.
like team first thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of like teams and roles in a team, do you find yourself as a senior and one of the fastest guys on the team, if not the fastest? Do you find yourself assuming more the leader role? And like, do you think if you are, do you lead more just by example, or are you more outspoken with it?
Um, I feel like I lead a lot by example.
Mm.
I feel like I try to, and I feel like one of the big things that Sandberg has taught me is more of just like doesn't matter if you're a senior, doesn't matter if you're a junior, doesn't matter if you're a sophomore, doesn't matter if you're a freshman. Honestly, I feel like a lot of has to do with like kind of like how you are as a person.
Mm.
Because we've had like I feel like we've had like a lot of like not a lot of seniors recently. Like last
Yeah.
year we graduated. I think it was 4 or 5 seniors.
Mm.
And then my sophomore year we graduated too, right?
Okay.
Mm.
So that's kind of those like moments where like you gotta have guys being able to like step up into those like leadership roles.
Yeah.
So I as soon as like I got into the team, I kind of tried to, especially during my sophomore year, 'cause, that's when we didn't have a lot of kids. So I was more of just like I really want to be able to like push my team, push my teammates. Um,
Mm.
and last year we had like a really like strong group of seniors that like um, that one of them, two of them ran the 4x8, one of the sectionals that won it, in the finals, and they were just like two guys that really have put a lot of work since their freshman year. Were able to like kind of get us there to that point. So they're two really good leaders, and I try to follow into the steps of like past guys that've been on the team,
Mm.
from multiple years ago, right? So it's like
Mm.
it's more of just like I don't think it's a senior thing. I think it's more of just like the individualized, like yourself, right? Like where do you put yourself on the team?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talking about past seniors that have been leaders for you and the rest of the team, maybe guys you look up to. Is there anybody else like in professional or in college running right now that you look up to and think like model yourself after them?
Um, I look up a lot to the guys from Sandberg, like the past runners of collegiate. I look up a lot to like Colin Solomon. I
Yeah.
really
Mm.
like how he's not really just like one event runner, right? Like the guy
Mm.
is like a 10K. He's a really good at 10K cross country, but he also runs like 144 in the 800,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
So I kind of like doing that. I like being able to like I admire that part where he's not just focused on one event. He's not just running the 3K.
Mm.
Like example, like it's nationals this week, NCAAs, or is it next week?
I don't. I
I'm
think
not sure.
it's. I'm not sure. I think it might be next week. I'm not. I'm
Oh,
not
next
sure
week.
though.
So he's
Yeah.
he's doubling. He's doing the 3K DMR double, which yeah, a
Mm.
lot of people haven't really seen him do the 3K recently, but he's got a really strong 3K. Obviously, he's running 144, right? So he could
Yeah.
have gone out there and ran the just the 800 and like maybe the mile. I think that was what they said, and he ended up scratching that to do the 3K and the DMR.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's something like I look up to like being able to do those events like or switch up and, being able to like think of yourselves like, yeah, I can do every event.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's good. With of course, there's all kinds of aspects we can talk about with running and everything. One of the things that we like to ask too is like, what is something about the sport of running that has maybe taught you about life or that you can apply to life? So what would that be for you?
I feel like for me, it's like consistency, like being
Mm,
consistent.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a lot of like, being consistent in like the good days and the bad days too. Like, even if a day is bad, like, you guys still be consistent. Like there's gonna be like those days like outside of running where it's just like, it's rough. Um, but you still gotta like be able to like show up.
Hmm.
Um, same thing with running, right? It's gonna be some days where it's just like, it's a hard day. You're not feeling 100%, but you still gotta be able to show up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I feel like that's something that I've really been able to take to like kind of like my life, outside of running, as like,
Mm,
uh, being outside like, in work and my family, with, my relationships. I feel like that's something, really, really, really important. And that's something that
yeah.
I'm really grateful about the sport.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. Abe enjoys running the 800 as well. I've heard him say often that it is one of the no the hardest event in
I think it's
track.
the hardest event in track and field. Yeah.
Yes, so you two have something in common there, and everything because I did not run track, but I do run, so I don't want to even try the 800.
You should give it a go.
Yeah, I'll
Yes.
I'll try it one time, and the time would be awful, but that's okay, and everything. So, Mattel, one of the things that we like to do is be able to give you right our guests a voice and say if there was anything you could say to those like who are younger or maybe who may be listening that would be a word of encouragement or a challenge. What is something that you would say to our listeners?
I feel like, something I would say is, I feel like you guys, you always have to do like your stuff with like passion, right? With love. I feel like that's something really key. Um, I feel like if you're, I don't know, playing a sport and you wake up and you're not having fun or you just don't love doing what you're doing, like I feel like you shouldn't be doing it, right?
Mm,
I feel like that's something that's really like also learned, not just throughout the sport. But actually, no, yeah, throughout the sport, it's something, my coaches have been telling me a lot. If you're not really like, having fun with it, it's like, you gotta have fun with the sport, and you gotta
yeah.
have not only fun, but you gotta be able to enjoy it. I mean, I feel like, um, especially like the senior season, um, with my team, especially like the guys that were on my team, these guys have known them for like 4 years and they've become my best friends. So I feel like,
Hmm.
I everything aside, like the accomplishments and everything, and the times, I feel like the best part of this season was able to run with them, and
Mm,
it was filled with fun and love and joy. I feel like that's something I would tell like the like younger kids and people that are just like kind of listening to the podcast. I feel like you got to do stuff with passion and love.
right. Well, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, passion and love can accomplish and push you to do a lot of things. So, thank you so much, Mateo, for sharing that. And one of the things one of the things we like to do is try to, of course, get to know our guests, and we like to just ask some fun questions and everything. So, we got a couple here for you. So, the first question is for you, since you're from Mexico, would you or do you enjoy steak tacos or chicken tacos? And what are your toppings?
I love steak tacos, man. They're they're the bomb. I really don't like the chicken tacos, me personally,
Okay.
but when I get the cilantro, lime, and then I do some salsa. Yeah.
Okay. So is it green salsa or red salsa?
I'm a red salsa fan. My
Okay.
dad likes the green, but I love the red.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a green fan myself. So
Really? I
yes,
love the red. I feel like it's just I like this. It's I feel like isn't green sometimes like spicier though?
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
usually sometimes it is, but I really like the flavor of the red.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, all right. So this next question is, if or not if, but when you go on your run, or, you're driving in a car or whatnot right now, who would you say is on your playlist, like either top artists or songs that you're listening to right now?
Um, I listen to a lot of Bad Bunny, a lot.
Okay.
So like
Yeah.
if you were to ask my teammates, especially like the kids that I drive back home, like they'll tell you like yeah, like Bad Bunny's on the car pretty much the whole day. Especially
Okay.
usually when we're in runs, we don't really get to take our phones, but when it's like a shakeout day and I'm able to just kind of like go outside and run, I'll probably play some Bad Bunny too during that run.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. And so then, if you're chilling, it's been an easy day, and you sit down and maybe watch a show or whatever. What snack are you grabbing to watch the snow or show?
I feel like maybe ice cream. I feel like ice cream is usually like kind of like my go-to treat, especially like after just like an easy day. If it's like just like
Yeah.
I don't know, like a Sunday and it's like, I'll go grab some ice cream. So yeah,
Okay.
I feel like ice cream is the go-to.
All right. So what? Any particular flavor?
I like vanilla. Me personally, I'm a fan of the vanilla. I'll go
Okay.
for some chocolate too, but I'm a big fan of the vanilla.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. So this is not necessarily, well, it is a question, but I have to ask because, I have been to Mexico, before, and I have, relatives that are from Mexico, and they would eat like these suckers that would have like a scorpion in it, like in the middle of the sucker. Have you ever tried that?
I've not tried that. I feel like that's the first time I kind of hear from it. Maybe not from the region where I was from, but I mean, like
Okay.
insects. It's like I want to say, well, it is kind of like something typical. Like there's some meals that do have like those kind of like animals on it, but
Hmm.
I've tried them. I've tried eating some of that stuff before. Not really my favorite thing, but I know a lot of like people, like especially like my grandparents. They like it a lot. Just
Okay.
like it's like a lot. It's like I don't know, like a cookout type of thing. To be honest,
Yeah.
especially like where I was from. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So Abe, are there any other questions or comments that you would have for Mateo?
No, I don't think so. No more questions. Just, once again, thank you for coming on. Hopefully talk to you later, see you at some meets. So yeah.
Oh yeah, it sounds super
Uh,
cool. Good luck with the rest of the season, and yeah, hope to see you someday.
Thank you.
yeah.
You too.
Yeah. So, oh, real quick, we won't dive into it a lot, but you committed to, Coastal Carolina. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay. And
yeah,
that's in South Carolina.
yeah. South Carolina.
Okay. I'm just going to tell you right now, just be prepared for the humidity. It is humid
Yeah,
down there.
yeah. I was already warned by the coach, so I mean, yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it though. It sounds like a challenge. Sounds fun.
Yes. Well, it is very humid. So yes. Okay. Well, hey, I just want to say thank you so much, everybody, for taking time, and listening and joining in on this conversation with Mateo. As a reminder, we are on the socials, Instagram and TikTok. And of course, we are on a Spotify, Apple, podcast and YouTube. If you would be able to give us a rate, follow, even leave a comment. We would love those, and we'll respond as best as we can there. So thank you again for taking this time. And just remember, whatever you're doing this week, maybe preparing for outdoor or, doing a national meet or whatever, I hope you hear our words saying andale, because we want you to get that PR or get your personal best. So everybody have a great one. And until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.